Welcome back to The Wellness Effect. Remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell. In this episode, we talk to Bankmed's Head of Corporate Communications, Natalie Schubach, about everything surrounding the marketing of medical aid schemes. Welcome, Natalie.
Thanks for having me, Seth.
It's an absolute pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to having this discussion. As someone who studied corporate comms and business management, I feel like it's going to be a great discussion
Absolutely.
today. Yeah. How does marketing medical aids differ from marketing, products?
So, Seth, it's a good question, and it is quite different because when you're marketing a product,
Yes.
it's usually you're looking for a mass audience, you're focusing on the product specifically, and you're trying to get those sales in and those numbers up, and that's where the focus is. However, in a medical aid space, it is completely different. We are a non-for-profit organization. We focus a member-centric approach on all communications and marketing activities, and it's all around informing members, educating members, enticing members to be healthier, and incentivizing them through rewards programs so that they go for the run, they eat the healthy food, and they get healthier, because that, at the end of the day, is what we want, healthy members.
So you mentioned, that the marketing and comms is really around the member. So what sort of channels and messaging do you use to, keep the member informed?
So the messaging depends on what the strategic goal of the medical aid is, which most of the time is in the wellness space, whether it be go for your PHAs or make sure you have your vaccinations or have you checked your high risk factors and should you be on certain chronic management programs. So we do a lot of that kind of communication. So that's more of the informative communication.
Okay.
As well as on top of that, any industry-related matters we share with our members, such as NHI, such as when COVID hits, any kind of topical sort of health-related information we will share with them as well. However, there's so much more to it, because then it's also helping with behavioral change for healthy lifestyle, for longevity. So how we do that through communications is we entice the members to join a rewards program that gets them fit or you get rewarded for healthy eating, exercise, that type of thing. So we make sure they do that. And we encourage preventative care and wellness screenings and making sure you're aware of your benefits that you have available, because medical schemes will mostly cover those things. So if you're just aware of that, then of course you will go and have those done. And then, it's preventative. And even if you do pick something up, if you pick it up early enough, you can really manage it with lots of different programs that are available.
Yes.
So that is the other thing. And then also medicine adherence and being compliant on your program. Because if you have a chronic condition and you're not adhering to your program and you're not going and collecting your medication, we will pick that up from the data. And then what we'll do is we'll communicate and send nudges and messages to say how important it is that you do these things for longevity. But what also is important is relevance. And this is what I'm passionate about, because this is really talks to marketing and comms.
Yeah.
Because not only does the message have to be relevant for the individual member, you must also bear in mind across a medical scheme, you have a range of age groups, a range of life stages and affordability. So what you want to do is ensure that you're reaching the members with the right message that's going to resonate with them, but at the same time, also on the right channel. So I've always had this approach that you have to have an omni-channel approach. I always say this to my team: we never leave a member behind. So, like for example, at Bankmed, I've been there 5 years. We've moved away a lot from postal, obviously because it's slower and because we're going paperless. However, to date, we still have 300 members. We used to have a lot more that prefer postal. So we will make sure that whatever communication they need or require, whether it's regulatory like an AGM communication or just something for them to know, we will send it via postal. But every year I try and introduce a new channel. And I think it's important as a marketer or a comms person to always be looking at your audience age group. Concentration spans are getting shorter, all of those type of things. Have a look and say, right, okay, let's do Facebook, let's do Instagram, all social media. So I recommend doing Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube, because you don't know where the members are going to be, firstly. And secondly, never have the same message across all platforms. Because I think back in the day, it used to be sort of a copy-paste across all platforms. Now it's not, because the members and audiences are different ages and they want to consume different information. So for example, on Facebook, we'll have more fun sort of quizzes around health and, that kind of thing, or just health information and health influencers, the wellness hacks, where we have an influencer give you tips and tricks on how to be healthy within a minute. And the same with Instagram. And we'll show events that we do on Instagram as well, because that's a nice place and we get a lot of uptake in terms of engagement there. But then also for thought leadership, which is also really important, because I do believe as a marketer or comms person, you need to position yourself as a thought leader, especially as a medical scheme for trust, as the health and wellness partner. So how do you do that? You've got to make sure that people want to come and consume the information you're providing and see you as trustful. So we use LinkedIn a lot for that, for a lot of our articles around chronic conditions, unpacking what's important for members to know at the different life stages they're at, and are they on the right plan? Should they change their plan the following year? That type of thing. So it's also very educational, but it's also great because I think it's a great thought leadership platform, and it gives us the opportunity to show other non-members that, wow, Bankmed is like, they're out there, they care about their members, they're always talking about health and wellness and tips and things like that. And I think sometimes you've also got to break out the box, which I managed to do, because you normally get stuck in communicating just to members.
Correct.
And I think a great platform to use is actually social media, and not just members. You want to grow, you want eyes that are, it's different. It's not mass audience like you would with the product marketing, but you want as many people as possible to go, hey, we want to come and check out Bankmed, even if it's just for information. Because somewhere down the line, that person might land up working for a bank or a financial services industry and decide, okay, well, now I can become a part of Bankmed, because Bankmed's top of mind. So we think of that as well. But when it comes down back to the members, really, it is whatever platform they want us on, we're there. So we find we get the highest engagement on email, but there is email fatigue. So that is one of the challenges that we face. So we use now WhatsApp. That's starting to work. SMS, there's a whole range of channels we're using, and obviously the website, which I always think should be your central source of truth for any information, whether you log in as a member and you have your individual portal, or even if you're just a potential client, employer group client, or a potential member, or just someone of interest that wants to see who Bankmed is all about. So I do encourage marketing people to ensure that they're not just looking, members are the most important, but also have that level of growth.
Correct.
In terms of other people seeing who Bankmed is or who the medical aid of choice is, and wanting to know more about them. And that's the main thing.
So you mentioned information, education, and relevance, but then how do you segment the members, and what type of comms go to particular members in that segment?
This is a really, really challenging area for, I think, any medical aid, because you don't want to have reader fatigue. Not everything relates to everyone. So this is where data-driven intelligence plays a big role, because we are able to, as a medical scheme, take claims information and all types of information and be able to segment down to your age group, because certain ages unlock certain benefits. We can do male or female, because some things are more gender related specifically. And chronic conditions, we'll target those members with messages for them, or even just seasonal. If it's flu season, we say, don't forget to go for your vaccination, or don't forget about all these certain screenings, depending on the month and whatever theme we're basing it on. And there's a strong call to action so that we know that's a click through, and it takes them somewhere where they can go, right, I can now book online for a PHA or whatever it is, or look for more information. And we always drive it to our website as well. So that's really important that we do that. And segmentation, so we use that to segment, but also it's also looking at things like who is not adhering to certain programs, as I mentioned earlier, so that we have that targeted communication. Or maybe we want to talk to potential retirees just before they retire to help them with, what are they struggling with, and what information can we give them to help them transition through that journey. And over and above that, we also segment for various reasons, depending on what we're wanting to achieve. And it really is aligned to business. So business wants PHAs up, because obviously we'll have healthier members. They want screening so that we can catch things early. They want people to become aware of the mental health online assessments that they have, so that you can see if there's markers there and if there needs to be intervention. So you focus a lot on that.
So you've mentioned, Natalie, a number of segmentations that you approach in communicating to your members. You've talked about information and education, but then ultimately, how do you measure success?
So it's twofold, because you measure success based on a campaign, because that's how you group it as a communications person. We never look at anything in isolation, or it's an SMS or an email. It will be like a specific campaign that will, like I mentioned earlier, an omni-channel approach. So from a communications point of view, we'll look at things like, engagement rates on social media channels. We'll look at things like open rates, click-through rates. Was something actioned? We sent out an email. Did they just read the email, or did they click on the link and actually go to the website we wanted them to go to? We check website traffic. We see if there's been spikes. So we can, over time, get a trend. So we can see, okay, it seems to be that when we run certain campaigns, there's a trend in activity. So from a communications point of view, it really is about ensuring engagement. I'm of a strong believer that it's not about how large your audience is, because all medical schemes have different size audiences. And that's why I find it very interesting from a competitor analysis point of view when I'm going through that process, as all marketers should do, that even if the audiences are a lot larger and they're much bigger members, that engagement rate on us is on a smaller group. If it's higher, that to me is far more important than how many followers are on your social media or how many people are reading your emails. For me, it's about who's engaging, because then you know the message is hitting. So that's some of the ways that we find the analytics and we create reports from a comms point of view. However, for business, we communicate purely because businesses come to us and said, we want healthier members, or we're feeling there's an issue that people are not following the diabetes program properly, X, Y, and Z. So their measure of success would be uptake. So then we would go and overlay the communication campaign aspect of it on which channels we used. And then we overlay that with, was there an uptake in what we were actually driving? Behavioral change or getting certain things done? Because as I mentioned earlier, you have informational type of communication, we have educational type of communication, and we have proactive communication, which is the core of our business, which is preventative healthcare and wellness. So that usually is a good indicator of success, because if we have seen that, it means we are picking up that our members are looking after their health and they're being healthier. They are taking their health seriously. They're incentivized to be on the rewards programs. They're going and, going for the runs, doing the exercise. They're going to the events, the wellness events that are hosted at a lot of companies. A lot of medical aids have events. So on the ground, how many people are going there? Have we increased the audience? That's something you measure as well. And then obviously the outcome overall is always healthy members. So it all fits so nicely together, There's a big integration between business, comms, and marketing.
Natalie, thank you for such an engaging conversation and for the insights you shared, particularly around marketing and communications when it comes to medical aid schemes.
Thanks for having me, Seth. This was great. Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell to catch every episode of The Wellness Effect. See you next time. Bankmed, the medical scheme of choice for the financial services industry. The Wellness Effect is proudly brought to you by Bankmed, yours in good health.